It's so hard to wear this all day. It's like I can't breathe. I just want freedom.
Good morning, guys. So it is Saturday morning and I am just getting ready to go to my day job. So it's just after 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday and I'm super tired and I don't have a lot of time. I'm going to get myself ready, go eat, and I'll check back in shortly. Alright guys, it's almost 6:45 and I need to be at the hospital, so I am just leaving for work now. Got all my luggage, and I'm out the door. So I'll catch up with you guys in a few.
I'm Chantel, and I've been a registered nurse for 7 years. I work in the community as a behavioral support triage clinician, and pretty much what I do is I triage referrals for the geriatric sector who is suffering from mental health challenges, and I write a report and I send that report to the appropriate specialist. I also work in the hospital and usually I pick up shifts on the weekend just to keep my skills going. So on the weekend, I usually work on the postpartum unit or in the emerge department.
Hey guys, so I'm currently at work and this is my first break that I'm getting during my 12-hour long shift, and the time is now 4:30. So today I'm on the postpartum unit. I work in ER and postpartum, and I'm a casual nurse on both units. So it's been very, very busy on the mom and baby unit. It's been go, go, go. I love it. It's always an opportunity to learn and grow with all of the needs on the unit. And it's fun because I get to somewhat cuddle with babies all day. Not really because of COVID, but you get what I mean. I get to hang out with babies and make sure that mom and baby's well-being is maintained throughout the day. So I am like super tired and I'm getting close to the end of my shift. I'm done at 7. I work 7 to 7, and I usually only pick up on the weekends. It is bittersweet because I have to leave Greg and the kids at home and then come here on the weekend and work, but it's also a nice thing that I'm able to help people that are in need. So yeah, this is kind of what I do. Being a frontline worker during COVID times is typically hard because we're in masks all day, so behind my ear is super raw. But I do have like a headband that I can put on, so I can just put the mask on the button on the headband and relieves some of like the tension off my ear. So I've been doing that, but because I got a break, I took it all off and then realized I have to talk to you guys. So I put the mask back on really quickly just to talk to you. So nursing is such a rewarding job. I am an RN. I've been an RN for 6 years. I graduated school in 2014, and I don't think I could have chose a better career choice. It's recession proof, it's COVID proof, in the sense that I have a job. I'll always be needed as a nurse, and I love what I do. And I also love what I do with the YouTubing. So my break is almost over and I'll have to return to my unit to take care of my mums and babies. But I thought I'd just drop in and say hi. So I'll talk to you guys later.
My name is Gregory. I'm a personal trainer and nutritionist, and I have been for over 15 years. As a personal trainer, the simplest way to say it is I'll design exercise programs and I'll take my clients through those exercise programs. But more specifically, it's helping my clients become the best version of themselves. And my own goal for my clients is physical and mental longevity. So I do what I can and provide them with all the information I can to help them live the longest, healthiest life possible. As a nutritionist, I'm doing the exact same thing from the nutrition side of things, and it really is very holistic. You can't have one without the other. You're almost working against yourself if you're trying to exercise and you're not eating properly. You can eat as healthy as you want to, but if you're not taking care of your body physically, then you're not going to get the results either. I didn't even go to school to become a personal trainer. I was actually out of high school and I was a bike messenger. And I became a bike messenger because my sister's boyfriend was a bike messenger. He said, hey, I get paid to ride my bike all day. Like, that's amazing. I want to get paid to ride my bike all day because I don't know what else I want to do yet. So I did that. And it was while I was riding my bike, my body changed from being so physical all day, every day. We'd ride 75 kilometers a day on average. And that's just accumulation of sprints and then running stairs and back on your bike. I started realizing how significant a role nutrition played in fueling me through my days. And then so I started taking a course in fitness and nutrition just so I could take better care of myself. That was my original intent. I want to feel better physically, and then so yeah, I did it for myself. Like, maybe this will lead to something later. And then I took my first certification in personal training because my body had developed, if you ever seen cyclists like sprinters, I had legs and I had a skinny upper body. So, well, in comparison to my legs, I just wanted to have more balanced physique, and I knew nothing about actual exercise or weight training. So I took a personal training certification course and just to learn how to actually work out myself. And then once talking to the personal trainer who was teaching the course about all the potential to become an actual personal trainer and teach other people what I'm learning with my fitness nutrition foundation, it felt good to me to know that everything I was doing for myself and how my body was changing, I was able to do this for other people. And it sort of just fell into place, and I became a personal trainer.
When I was in high school, I wanted to get a job that's diverse and recession-proof. And I remember my mom having this conversation with me, is like, get a job in healthcare because no matter what, you'll always have a job. I remember I think it was Career Starters was the website, and you plug in some information about yourself and what you like to do, and one of the jobs that came up was a nurse. So I kind of looked into nursing, I looked at the salary, and I kind of looked at the duties of nursing and realized nursing is so diverse. Like, it doesn't have to be just in a hospital setting. You could pretty much work anywhere as a nurse, whether it's the film industry, they have a nurse on site, whether it's a bank for insurance, there's a nurse there. It was just so diverse, and you can find a role as a nurse in any industry, and I thought that would be a best fit for me. So I went and I decided to pursue nursing.
This is kind of what I wear to work. So my stethoscope, and then I have my scrub pants on and some runners. I'm super comfy in what I wear, and I'm representing myself as a nurse. A modern nurse, that is.
I remember looking at the prerequisites as well, and here in Canada, to become a registered nurse, which is a 4-year university degree, most schools here in Ontario, you collaborate with a college. So you do 2 years college, 2 years university. The program I took was affiliated with a college, so I would do a lot of my clinical practices on the college side and a lot of the theory stuff on the university side. But in order to get into the program to do that, the prerequisites were math, English, chemistry, and biology. And it all had to be taken at the university level. So we have the university level and the college level. And your grade point average had to be an 80. And I think mine was an 81. So I just made it into nursing school, but that's all that mattered to me. I just want to get in, and I got in.
Hey guys, so I'm working in Emerge today. It's super busy. It's go, go, go. It's 12 o'clock and I'm just getting my first break now. In Emerge, we always have to wear masks and eye protection because of the COVID patients we see. But so far, I have one low-risk COVID patient. So every time I go into the room, I have a gown, I have an N95, and my eyewear. But it's really fast-paced and emerge, really sick patients. So you really have to keep a close eye on them. Okay, so I am going to have my break, and I will catch up with you guys later.
I was only working as a personal trainer for a couple of years before I met my mentor, Ken, and he pulled me more into the nutrition side of things, which just sort of blew my mind. And that's when I got into nutrition. I got my nutrition certifications and started doing nutrition also. Think of personal training, I'm wearing workout clothes all day. I get to wear shorts to work and a t-shirt, and I'm working with people who are excited about taking care of themselves. You're in this just fitness environment, so all these people that you're working with are like-minded. I get to set my own schedule. This is the hours that I want to work, and I let it work around my kid's schedule, school schedule, Chantel's schedule, and I just work with my client's schedules. So the longer you've been doing it, the more you're able to sort of accommodate that way. So yeah, I love my job.
I love my job here in the hospital on the emerge unit and postpartum unit. Even though they're both at different ends of the spectrum, they both teach me different things, and I'm acquiring so many skills that I can take anywhere. So that's why I love working in the hospital, and I'm trying to keep picking up shifts so that I can just stay abreast with all the skills. I love the mom and baby unit. It's totally different from emerge. Postpartum is just all routine, so you're just doing routine. Emerge is anything that comes through the door, you have to be on it. Your skills have to be super on point because you're dealing with acute patients all day long. You do get chronic ones as well, but you never know what you may get through that door. So your critical thinking skills have to be on point. It's so hard to wear this all day. It's like I can't breathe. I just want freedom. When I'm in emerge, I usually protect myself, so I'm wearing like a hospital shirt, and I have my own pants, but usually if I'm on the mom and baby unit, it's a little bit different. I kind of dress down more like a modern nurse, but because of the pandemic we're in, I really want to protect myself and my family. All right guys, thanks for hanging out with me. This is my day job. See you later.
I do enjoy my jobs. Nursing in the hospital obviously is quite different from nursing in the community. A little bit about the hospital, it's hectic. Sometimes I don't get breaks, but what's really rewarding about working in the hospital is you're there for someone when they're at their worst. Not only that, because in emerge, I'm there for them when they're at their worst, but on the postpartum side, I'm there when they're at their best and their worst, let's say. Sometimes moms don't feel the best after birth, but you're there to encourage them, help them recover after having a baby, and you're there for mom, baby, and dad. And it's such a rewarding career on both sides, emerge and postpartum, that I really couldn't see me doing anything else within healthcare. I think that my calling at the time was to be a registered nurse. Like, I excel at it, and a lot of the things that I do comes natural for me. So I never dread a day going into the hospital. Mind you, I'm casual, but you learn so much skills. The skill set is so diverse, and you can take it anywhere. Like, it's amazing.
Hey guys, so I'm finally done my shift. Freedom. Life of a frontline worker, 12-hour shift. It's kind of nice that I was on the mom and baby unit because they really have the unit controlled. There's only allowed one visitor in with mom at all times, or whenever mom chooses. But before, it was like we used to have massive people coming in to congratulate mom for having a baby, and now we're down to just one visitor. So that was different. It's important that because we're in COVID, I change, and I'm gonna go home and disinfect and just kind of wind down. A day in the life of a nurse.
With my community job, I wouldn't say it takes a nurse to do what I do. It's more like day to day, you're filling out reports. It's expected of me to do 3 reports a day, and that will take up my entire day. And I'm just at a screen, and I'm typing, and I'm looking at lab works, and I'm creating a clinical picture for a doctor. So the doctor doesn't have to bring in a patient and interview the patient. Once they read my report, they have a clear summary of exactly what this patient's clinical picture looks like. And that sometimes can be quite stressful, meeting numbers that way rather than taking care of a person. But I love it in the sense that it works right now for life. Like it's an 8:30 to 4:30 job. I'm able to flex my time, meaning if I need to leave 4 hours early, I can do that as long as I make the hours up some way. So I can go on field trips with my kids, or I can go pick up my kids early, or I can take them to gymnastics. It's just more of a flexible job for family life balance. So it has its pros and it has its cons.
I have worked for, I think, 3 different companies. I've worked for 2 large gym chains and 1 small gym chain. And I could say that they were all fantastic experiences. The first gym that I worked at, I actually did nutrition there for 7 years. I did full-time nutrition, and I was just a part-time personal trainer. And it was after that, the place that I worked at only had personal training, they didn't do nutrition. So I did nutrition myself online. Best part of the job is you're literally changing people's lives. To watch those changes and to do before and afters. I've worked with people all ranges. So that could be fitness competitors, bodybuilders, bikini competitors. It could be rehabilitation, it could be weight loss. And to watch whatever that goal is, and these people obtain those goals and how happy they are and how it changes their lives, that's just so rewarding in itself. That's the best part of the job.
So since becoming a nurse, I've worked at a few healthcare organizations. My first job as a nurse, I started at a long-term care home. And then shortly after that, I was a surgical nurse at a hospital in Lindsay, Ontario, which is an hour away from where I live. And shortly after that, I became a community nurse. And then afterwards, I think it was 4 years after that, I went back to a local hospital where I do postpartum care and emergency nursing. So I work about literally 5 minutes from home. It makes it so much more enjoyable when you work closer to home. The best part of my job is making people feel good. There's nothing more rewarding when people know you actually care about them, and you can feel that with every part of your senses, feeling emotional, physically, spiritually, emotionally. It's just all encompassed there, and that's how you know you're showing up to do your job as a nurse, as stressful as it can be, especially during hard times. I'm the one that shows up to take care of them and let them know that everything's gonna be okay.
Worst part of the job? You're working for somebody. So there's still the administrative side of things. It's the farthest thing from my mind. I have my clients and I want to take care of them. And that's what I'm thinking about. One of my best client experiences, I have so many positive client experiences. Weight loss, competitors on stage, bringing home trophies, Chantel winning overall at one of her shows. But one of my actual best is a person who came to me that was, my manager said, I have a client for you. She's rehabilitation, but pre-foundation. So foundation is where we consider someone who's new and where we're starting from. You have to build a foundation. He's like, basically she's pre-foundation. Think of her as we're trying to get her out of the wheelchair. I'm like, okay, this is a challenge because this is a level that I have not worked with before. But I had the most experience, this is why they wanted to put her with me. And when I talked to her, her muscles were so tight that she was kind of like this and had to almost waddle when she walked. And her goal was to be able to be a little more, I want to be normal again. I want my arms to be straight. I want to walk normal. I want to go up and down stairs straight. She'd have to like hold the rail and do a side step. She can't lift her arms over her head. She's like, I want to be able to get stuff out of the cupboard. I have to call my kids over. And her condition was an undiagnosed autoimmune disorder. They didn't know what was wrong with her. She had been, she traveled out of the country, and when she came back, this set in. She got weak and tight and nobody could figure it out. And so I was working against that. But basically, working with her for, it was around a year, we got her everything she wanted. We got her walking up and down stairs normal again. We got her walking, standing normal, able to swing her arms, to be able to reach over her head and get things out of the cupboard, to be able to open a jar. Her grip strength used to be so weak she couldn't hold on to things. She'd have to hold cups and bottles with 2 hands. Now she can actually hold a jar and twist the lid. So that's one of the clients I'm sort of most proud of, most greatest success stories.
The worst part of the job is for hospital is missing breaks. Now, you guys know I'm really into fitness, so I don't get to eat my meals. And when I was competing in fitness, I would have 6 meals a day. And then When I wasn't competing, I'd have maybe 4 to 5 on average. When I'm working in the hospital, sometimes I'll only get 1 meal. So I am really hungry during my shifts, and it's just that I put my patients first, where sometimes I just miss my breaks. I try to get better at prioritizing my tasks and stuff, but sometimes when you're in a merge, it's crazy and you just don't get your breaks. That to me is the worst part of the job. With my community job, worst part of the job for me would be just working for people. It's just a structured, controlled environment. You're doing the same thing every day, and it comes off like it's more of a robotic job. And at times I don't like that. I like to be doing something different, and sometimes just on my own pace. My best patient experience would have to be, oh man, guys, I have like so many, and it's funny that like I can't remember it like once I'm on camera. There's a lot of times where people show their gratitude for the care that I given, and I remember this one particular senior came in and she had a fall and she broke her hip. So she was in Emerge, and I was the nurse assigned to care for her. And I just remember she wasn't able to do much, like her hip's broken, and just being able to care for her in the manner knowing that everything's gonna be okay and that her care is in my hands. And I don't just do what my job description says to do. I'm always told that I always take that extra step. So with her, like after I gave her like a bed bath and helped her with her breakfast, gave her meds, I did her hair, and I just always make sure she was comfortable. And I literally just care for them like they're my kids. Like, I don't see them any different. They're my patients. Anyways, I just gave her the best care possible that I can give. And I remember I went to another zone to work. They pulled me to another zone, and I came back to check on her. Not that I have to, but I did, because I genuinely cared to make sure that her health and well-being is optimal. And when I came back, there was like the nursing station had here it's Tim Hortons. They had like a box of Tim Hortons and donuts and all these things at the nursing station, and I'm like, oh, like I'm hungry, I don't get breaks, right? And I'm always spending time and talking to my patients. I'm like, who's this for? Another nurse came to the station, and she's like, oh, Chantel, I have to tell you, this is for you. This is so-and-so's daughter was so pleased with the care you gave her mom. Like, this is for you. I'm like, well, this can't all be for me. It's obviously for all of us to share. She's like, no, like, genuinely, she brought it for you. But yeah, we're all going to share it. But it's kind of cute. And they'll come back and they'll just like give something of their appreciation. And it's not that they need to, but they're just showing, like, they're expressing their gratitude. Because some of these people are scared. Like, Emerge is a scary place at times. And my role as a nurse is to make my patients feel cared for and comfortable, and I'm so happy that I'm able to do that.
The direction I'm going is, as much as I love working with my clients, I also train personal trainers and do nutrition with or for nutritionists, and I love the teaching aspect of it and helping make personal trainers better personal trainers or nutritionists better nutritionists. And so I almost be able to use something like YouTube as a platform to reach those people and sort of reach more people and help build those people up. Because there's so much information that's out there, and you do not get taught that stuff in these courses. You don't get taught in the certifications. And it's only experience working with people, working with clients, and actually paying attention and absorbing that knowledge, information, the wisdom that's all around you, picking other people's minds. And that I've been doing that for as long as I have. I want to be able to share that information with as many people as possible.
My worst experience as a nurse is when I started nursing. So my first job was at a long-term care home, and my first shift where I was on my own was a night shift. And of course, on the night shift, a patient dies, a resident dies, and I can't find the certificate to tell the paramedics whether they should perform CPR on the patient or just have the paramedics take the patient to the morgue. So I was so new, and I remember on orientation they were showing me all the DNR certificates will be in the patient's charts, where they should be. So what happened is I came on my night shift, I did my rounds just like I was told. And night shift for me started from 10:30 to 6:30 in the morning. That was the night shift. So I came on for 10:30. Everybody was healthy, everybody was alive. This particular male resident was in a common room, and when I saw him, he was watching TV in his wheelchair. After some time, I would pass by and he was up. And then after a couple hours, I realized his head was sloped down and it just looked like the patient was sleeping. Now, when the PSWs do their rounds, they know who likes to stay up, they know who they have to shower, they know their job. So basically following their lead, I'm just there to oversee, give meds, and obviously in a situation like this, handle it the best way I can. So a PSW comes to me and is like, Mr. So-and-so is not responding, and my heart just drops. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's my first nursing shift. Do not tell me that a resident is dead. So I go into where he is, and I feel his pulse, and there's no pulse, and his wrist been putting so much pressure on his wheelchair that he has like a significant indent, like almost cut his skin open because of the dead weight. So we call the paramedics to come, and they ask me for the DNR, and I can't find it. And paramedics and nurses have an odd relationship. It's like we don't like each other. I don't know why. I like everybody. But they come and they just give me attitude, and they're looking at me like, oh yeah, we always hear this at nursing homes, like the nurses can't find their certificate or they're new to the job. And I'm like, guys, literally it's my first day by myself on this ship, and I am looking for the DNR and I can't find it. It's not in his chart. Anyways, long story short, we end up finding it, and it's over at another nursing station in the nursing home in one of these doctor's book, because they have a clinic and they put everything together for the doctor's clinic to review and sign these things, and that's where it was. But it was a scary night for it being my first night on my own as a brand new fresh baby nurse, and it was like terrible. I felt really bad.
When I was in elementary school, I wanted to be a forest ranger. I started camping with my uncles. I think my dad brought me when I was young, but when I was a little older, like 12, then my uncle started bringing me, called here interior camping or portaging, where we're paddling into the woods and portaging canoes through trails and camping in the wilderness. And like, wait a second, when we'd be out there, these guys would pull up in boats and check for our fishing license and that sort of thing. And I'm like, it's this guy's job to do that? They live out here and they just make sure people are following proper rules and regulations. That's what I want to do. I want to be out here all summer and just camping out. That's amazing. Yeah, as I got a little older, I realized I don't want to do that anymore. I was actually up there one year and I saw students going through the grunt work they had to. I'm like, that is not what I want to do.
So when I was really little, say about around the ages of from 5 to, let's say, 10, 11, I wanted to be a singer, but I cannot sing. That dream faded quickly, but I remember the height of that came when American Idol came out, and I was telling my mom, I'm gonna be like the next American Idol or Canadian Idol, and I was taking piano and singing lessons, but I just could not sing. Maybe I can hold a note, but I just couldn't sing to become a competitor on one of those shows. When I was in elementary school, we had a career day, and I remember this lady coming in describing her job. She said she was a bailiff, but her job seemed like a probationary officer for juveniles who had infractions with the law. And I remember just wanting to do that because I felt that I wanted to do something with law, either be a lawyer or a bailiff or a probation officer. That obviously didn't go as planned, but I knew that early on I wanted to be something in law, and then soon after that I thought I would be a police officer, but thank goodness I didn't become one. I know when I was in high school, I saw myself as a nurse and a mom, and I became that. I always used to tell myself, actually I still do tell myself, after 5 years I want to see myself doing something else. Like I want to see myself progressing. I'm not an individual that can stay stagnant in one spot. Right now, where I see myself in the next 5 years is a successful entrepreneur influencing people around the world.
If somebody's considering becoming a personal trainer, it's something, being in the position I'm in and I help hire new personal trainers, one of the things that we see is guys that come in who work out themselves, have a nice physique, and sometimes they're competitors, they've done a show, they've had a coach, and they think, I've been successful for myself and I can do this for anybody. And they learn real quick that they don't know anything, that there's so much more to this. When we do our assessments, you have to have a good, proper, in-depth knowledge of the human anatomy to be able to do a proper assessment and know what corrections need to be done before you can even start training this person. You can't just jump in and say, oh, you want bigger legs, let's do this. You want to lose weight, let's do that. There's so much more you need to know about them. So if you really have a passion and you really want to learn, I say start at one of those big chain gyms and pick the brains of the people that you work with and learn as much as you can. These guys who just come in, they think they know it all, and the people around them that actually do have the knowledge realize those people are actually going to hurt their clients. They're doing more harm than good. There's little things, little adjustments that can be made that these guys don't know. They're not seeing it and they're actually doing more harm than good. And I see it all the time. So if you're serious about it, you gotta want the knowledge and you wanna learn as much as you can to help these people. It's not just a quick, I can get the certification, I know what I'm doing. I just want to talk about the nutrition side of it at the same time. What I've learned real quick is that the nutrition that is taught is not, I could go on forever about it. There's so much more to the nutrition side of things. And again, what I've learned has come from experience in working with nutritionists who have been in it and have trained or advised people from all sides of that spectrum, whether it's weight gain, weight loss, competitive, athletic nutrition. When you talk to a nutritionist that's come out of school and they don't know how to put a bodybuilder on stage, that's a huge concern to me. You don't know how to put muscle on a person and reduce body fat? Like, this is what it's all about, and they're not taught how to do that. The nutrition that they come out with is something very different, and that needs to be learned, and it's not taught in textbooks. In fact, my textbooks completely avoid it, and it's kind of scary that that's a fact. So again, you got to talk to the people in the industry who know and have worked with these people and get as much information as possible. That's how you become the best nutritionist.
If anybody came to me and told me that they want to be a nurse, I'd say do it, give it a try. You never know where your passion lies unless you try it and go for it. There's pros and cons to every profession, but if it's truly for you, you'll know it. So if you choose to do nursing, the academics can be quite demanding. I just want to say to anyone who decides to pursue nursing is just don't give up. Stick to it and know that the light's always at the end of the tunnel. You can do it. If I can do it, there's nothing that's stopping you from doing it either.
Also, I should mention, I went back to school in 2012 to become a paramedic. That's when I was a bike messenger, I was doored, we'll say. Someone opened a door when I was flying down the road, and I hit that door hard. It laid me out. I was in and out of consciousness. Paramedics came and picked me up off the road, and it was in that moment I instantly felt safe. And the care they provided, getting me to the hospital, and we were, in that time, Toronto was at capacity at hospital, so I was actually bounced between hospitals, going back and forth in this ambulance. And they made me feel taken care of, and I'm like, that's something I would love to do for other people, make them feel the way these guys made me feel. So when I met Chantel, she's like, if there's anything else you would ever want to do, what would it be? And at that time, the gym I was working for was on its way down. That's the one that ended up going bankrupt. And like, if I could do anything, I'd be a paramedic. So I'm back to school to become a paramedic. And say by the time I got to the end, the excitement I had for it had dwindled some. So now I was doing it for the job and for the money, for the pension, for kind of for the wrong reasons. Because I was working in industry as a personal trainer and nutritionist where I'm helping people become their best selves. And what I was realizing on the paramedic side of things from doing my ride-outs, doing my hospital placements, was these people don't care about themselves. And it was sad to see. And they just expect everybody else to care for them. And I'd say that was almost 80% of the patients that I dealt with, unfortunately. And that experience kind of jaded me because it wasn't what I was expecting. And it gave me a real sort of reality check with what the general population was. Like, I live in the gym. I'm at the gym and I'm home. My friends are fitness people, my family are fitness people, and where I work is fitness people, and that's the environment I'm surrounded with. So once I was working with the opposite end of the spectrum, it was like, wow, it was really eye-opening. But the knowledge I gained from the in-depth anatomy and physiology and pathophysiology, pharmacology, it made me a far better personal trainer and nutritionist. And I just brought that back and became far better at those jobs.
So when I started nursing, I started as a PSW. So people here would say it's like the grunt work of nursing, but PSWs need to get way more respect than they do because they literally do everything. And I remember just before Amaya was born, I was a PSW. I did 1 year of nursing school and then I got hired at a nursing home as a personal support worker. That's what PSW stands for here. And they just make sure that the residents get up, they're bath, they eat, you dress them, and you're just kind of monitoring their care. But it was so tough because sometimes you'd be responsible. I think I had like somewhere between 12 and 15 residents that I had to care for, and it was so hard. It was so difficult managing my time, where nurses, all they had to do was, they were just pill pushers. Like they would just give meds, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to be a nurse. But I think it was so fundamental starting as a PSW, like starting from the bottom and like working my way to the top to appreciate every person that plays a role in healthcare. Alright guys, so that's the end of the video. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about me and Greg. But you know what? We'd like to know what our viewers do for a living.
Absolutely. Drop us a comment below. Let us know what you do.
Alright guys, please make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell because we don't want you to miss a thing. Alright guys, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.